Good morning. I'm going to take a little time to talk to you about our schedule. My kids are playing in the backyard, so hopefully they'll be content long enough for me to talk to you about this. But if they come busting in, we'll just have to take a little break. Okay, first of all, I almost feel humorous doing a video about scheduling because in the beginning of my motherhood, I was absolutely the most unscheduled person you could meet. It was fly by the seat of my pants with everything. There was really no routine to my life. Even after my first couple kids, I remember I was pregnant with Silas, I think it was, so that would have been my third baby, when I started reading blogs of other large families. And I would read them always thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to have a large family, or I'm not a large family, but this is really intriguing to me. And how do these people do this? And how does this work? And for years, I would keep up with people's blogs and just look for that little glimpse into their life because it was fascinating to me. Little did I know that I would be pregnant with my 7th child, that the plan that God had for me was actually to be a large family mom, and that someday I would be making my own video on how we are scheduling our household. So it's just the humor of the Lord, right? Okay, so we have done many different schedules since that time. I started out very simple. I just kind of made little pictures for the kids of, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then slowly they progressed. I've gotten to the point with the amount of children that I have and the amount of things that I want to accomplish in a day that I really need it to be more detailed than before. And this has been a slow progression. This year was the first year that I actually bought the Managers of Their Homes book, and it has been a great blessing to me. So I have kind of done this style without ever buying the book for the past couple of years, 2 years maybe. But it was great to actually officially read the book and get her wisdom on how to put a schedule together. It just helped me refine what I have been doing. So since we start back at homeschooling tomorrow, it seemed like a great time to show you the schedule that I have made for this upcoming school year. So just in the style of that book, which I have done in the past on a Word document, this year I actually did what she recommends, which is cutting out each little square and sticky tacking it to my board, we'll call it. And I actually have another video that I haven't posted yet, but I will, about how I physically put this together. So I'm not going to talk about that at all right now, but I'm just going to go through the schedule with you. Once we get down to, about 4 o'clock, it's no longer about school time. So if you're just looking for scheduling your school hours, you can just stop watching then. But if you're interested in how we are going to finish out our day, you can keep on watching to the end. Okay, so first of all, wake up time. I wake up at 6. That's just my time that works for me. I get up and then I can have, usually about 45 minutes before my first child wakes up. Sometimes they get up a little earlier, but I get some time just in the quiet of the morning, spend time with the Lord. I also, during this time, I get dressed. I get myself fully dressed so that I feel prepared for the day. So whatever that entails for you, do it at that time. Let's hear kids coming in. We'll see. My washing machine has this awesome feature where I can put laundry in the night before and set the time that I want it to be washed. And so when I get up in the morning, I already have a load that's just finishing up in the washing machine and ready to be switched into the dryer. So that is also just a real blessing. I just toss that load into the dryer and get that laundry going in the morning. What's up, buddy? You having some fun? Oh. Go find your ball. Okay, so at 7 o'clock is our kid wake-up time. Now, over the summer, we have not been on a strict schedule like this. Especially this summer, I was pregnant and just needing things to be a lot more loose around here. So there wasn't a scheduled wake up time, and there were general jobs for the kids to do, but it wasn't very structured. So we are going to ease back into this slowly. By the end of this month, this will be what takes place. Wake up is at 7. We are really trying to help get Jason out the door for work earlier, because he likes to have a family Bible time with us. And so if we're not up and moving, it delays him a lot. So the plan is that as soon as we get those kids out of bed, we're just going to bring him to the table and have our time with him, and so that he can get out the door. Okay, so that's at 7. Now I have one little square up here you can see. This is Samuel. He's usually up early. Samuel and Elsie are usually up before the rest of the kids. And so in the quiet of the morning, before that 7 o'clock time, is when I'm going to do a little reading lesson with him. Okay, at 7:30, then we're going to sit down for breakfast. Jason will be gone to work, so this is just us at this point. He takes his breakfast on the go. Breakfast, and do our scripture memory box during breakfast. I have another video actually that I'll put a link to about our scripture memory system. That will happen at breakfast time. 8 o'clock, we will do our chores. My kiddos, most of them really need to get up and eat before they can do any kind of chores, because especially my little ones, they're just hungry. So we're going to do chores next at 8. Okay, what does chore time include? I have just a really brief summary here that I stick on the wall to remind them: get dressed, make your bed. I am not a bed maker Nazi mom who likes all the corners tucked in. I mean, generally I just want their comforter pulled up. So this is not, some of y'all are really good about making sure that kids do a nice job on that. That is just not my talent. Your comforter's pulled up, you're good to go. And brush teeth. Then this goes from my oldest 10-year-old to my youngest, who's 2. Isabella is going to be whatever load we're on with the washer dryer. She's going to be pulling that load out of the dryer, folding it and putting it into the correct baskets. Leo's going to be taking out the trashes and just doing a quick sweep if we have breakfast mess in the dining room. Silas is going to unload the dishwasher. Elsie is just doing a quick clean of the bathroom. It's just more of a spot cleaning. This isn't a deep cleaning. These are supposed to be done quickly. Samuel is my 3-year-old. He's going to just wipe off the table from our breakfast mess. And Jeremiah gets to feed Pepper if it hasn't been done already. He's still at an age where I'm mostly giving him a job to help him to feel included. He just turned 2 in May, so he's not reliable, obviously, but, you know, they have to start somewhere. Mom will be cleaning up the kitchen, making sure that the little guys are dressed. Okay, I gave us a full hour to do that. Why? I know that's not going to take an hour, but generally there is a good chance that we are already running behind of our schedule by 8, because some of us are a little harder to prod along in the morning than others. So this way we just have a chance to breathe. We've had our breakfast. We said goodbye to Jason. We just can collect ourselves and get ourselves together before we're ready to start our school morning. At 9 o'clock is my target time for coming back to the table to sit down and begin some of our schoolwork. We start with our CBS homework. CBS stands for Community Bible Study. It is a group that we're part of, that we go on Fridays and go to classes, but then during the week we have our homework. So I like to start with that because it's just a good thing that we all do together. We're studying the Word together. It's just a nice start to the day. Okay, everyone from Isabella, who's 5th grade, through Elsie, my 1st grader, will have a workbook this year. My 2 little guys, Samuel is so excited to participate in school. So I got him just some, those dollar store preschool books, and I took them apart actually because he wants to feel big, and I put them together in a binder so that he has his own book to work on. Jeremiah, he's hit or miss, again, 2 years old. He can sit and color with us or just do some toys, or Duplos is one of his big favorites. Play-Doh, okay, he's just playing during that time. When the kids are done with their CBS books, because we do it all together, but some finish a little earlier than others, then I have laminated maps that they can get out the dry erase markers and trace. Yes, honey, this is very important.
No.
Okay, goodbye. So they will be able to just trace those maps, either maps of the continents or a map of, different countries. That gives them a little bit of geography time each morning. At 10 o'clock then, we are going to take a morning walk. Now, this is not very fun right now because we're still living in the city and we've walked these paths a few hundred times. But it will be really exciting once we're finally moved onto our almost 16 acres, and we'll get to walk around for 30 minutes and see the changes of the seasons and see what kind of adventures we can come upon or what things we can discover. So that's just to get kids outside. I have some with wiggles that need to really just breathe the morning air for a little bit. Okay, when we come back in at 10:30, you need something to entice you back in once you get outside, especially for those certain kids. So we're going to come back in for a snack while I read to the kids. This is how we do literature. I have a basket of chapter books that I am reading, and so sometimes we get so into one that we'll just keep reading that book all the way through to the end. Sometimes we'll switch back and forth between two. But we'll do that at 10:30 while the kids are eating a little snack. Then at 11, we start back into our official table work for school. So what I have done is made sure that every child has a one-on-one time with me, because there are a few things that they just need to sit with me and do each day. One of them is our spelling program. We do all about spelling, and so that is a parent-led program. We work through together. They also read a lesson from McGuffey's to me, and I often need to explain some math concepts. We use Matthew C, so we do have a video that comes with it that they can watch. But what I have found is that, hopefully you can hear me over the noise, they're coming in for water. What I found is that they still somehow need me to explain certain things to them. Like just seeing it or hearing it from Mr. D, they call him on the video, is not always enough. Hi, sweetie pie. Whoopsie. Yeah, you're right. That one came off. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I was not down that far yet to notice that was missing. Okay, where was I? I'm back. The kids came busting in and they all needed a quick snack, so they are playing again. We'll see how much I can get through here. Okay, so at 11, that is when things get a little more detailed. Until then, it's been everybody the same thing. Okay, at 11, I'm going to start by working with Silas. If you're doing this, I would recommend knowing your kid and which one needs to have that one-on-one time. How do I say this? It's not like he needs it first, but I think his mind is very sharp when we first sit down, and it would be best for me to just really focus in on that and start with a subject that may not come as natural to him. Okay, so I'm going to start with Silas. Meanwhile, Isabella and Leo are both going to be doing their classical conversations sheets. Now, I'm actually going to do another video because somebody asked me how we do classical conversations at home without being part of a community. And so we have these sheets that they fill out, and I will show that in that video. They're also, during that half-hour period, going to be doing 10 or 15 minutes of some handwriting. They both have cursive books that they're working through, or they can do some copy work. Leo generally finishes up a little quicker because his CC page does not take as long as Isabella's. He has an abbreviated page. So then he will break away to check on my little two, because during this time, they are just going to be playing. We have a toy bin that we can get out for them to play with, but he's just going to break away as soon as he's finished and check on them. Okay, Silas working with me. Elsie will also be doing some handwriting and some work in her workbook. She is in first grade this year, and she just adores sitting at the table and doing workbooks or handwriting or writing in her notebook. This is just her personality, and she loves it. And she didn't quit all summer. The rest of us took a break from school, and she just kept on going on her own accord. So giving her a full half hour to do that kind of thing will be really fun for her. Little two are continuing to play at 11:30 when I switch to working with Isabella. She's my next one-on-one person. Leo and Silas will both start math. Now, what we do for math is they do it for a certain period of time, and then they stop. So if that means that they get through a full lesson, great. If they only get halfway through a lesson, no big deal. They'll pick it up tomorrow. I don't go by quantity. I go by the amount of time. Sometimes things take longer than others. Okay, I have a little portable DVD player with headphones, and that's how they can listen to their math lesson when they get to that point without disturbing anybody else. Elsie, at this point, she will be in charge of playing with my two little guys. So they can do Play-Doh, or they can color pictures, or continue on with that toy bin. Whatever it is, I'm going to send her in there to just entertain them for a little bit. Okay, at 12, which is our next half-hour segment, I switch to working with Leo. Isabella starts her math, and now it's Silas's turn to play with my little guys for that half hour. Elsie can be back at the table. Obviously, she's first grade. She's not even of age to be recorded in Missouri for her hours. She's only 6. For this entire first grade year, she'll only be 6. So it's not so important to me that she get everything completed. I just know she enjoys it, and so that's why I keep giving her time back at the table. She's already actually ahead of first grade level with reading and writing and things like that. So I'm not too anxious about her. Okay. Samuel and Jeremiah, it says play with Silas. See how this is working? Everybody knows about the time and what they're supposed to do because it's all just kind of sorted out in their color. Okay, at 12:30, I have now worked with my 4 older kids, and I am going to get Isabella and Leo started in the Essentials in Writing program. This is a program that we're just starting this year, so we'll see how it goes. But there's another short video that they watch, and then there's a workbook that they go through. So I don't know how much of me they're going to require. I'm not sure how hands-on I'm going to have to be. We'll just have to learn as we go along. But I'm going to get them started in that. Silas will do 10 minutes or so of handwriting. Elsie can finish up her math. She just does a little bit of math. It is not her most beloved subject, but we keep her going also in math, you see. And then Samuel and Jeremiah, they will just throw their toys back into the toy bin that they've played with. That's why I wrote tidy on here. I am not expecting them to clean up all the messes that they've made because it's just not reasonable for a 3- and 2-year-old to do that by themselves. But they will just throw the toys back into the toy bin, and then they get to have their time watching a 30-minute show. I needed quiet because I'm going to be kind of stretched during this time of switching back and forth between helping the 2 olders with the writing and then beginning a work with mom time with Elsie. So I need to make sure those 2 little ones are just quiet. Now, the reason I saved Elsie for last with the work with mom time is because for her, sitting down and doing this spelling program or reading from McGuffey's, that is a favorite for her. And so I went ahead and saved that for last because I know that she'll still have the energy to do that. The other 3, once they're finished with their writing, essentials in writing or handwriting, they're going to do a quick tidy up of the rest of the mess that the two little guys made while we were having this morning school section. And then that brings us to about 1:30, and we're going to stop for lunch. One of the things that is really important for me to have this schedule go successfully is to have a plan about what we're going to eat, because that has really been the number one thing that has caused me to fall off of my schedule in the past. Is that just like my personality with the rest of my life, I tend to be really good at throwing things together without a meal plan, which is great, but it generally takes more time. And so to have knowledge of this is what we're going to have for breakfast, this is what we're going to have for lunch, eliminates that thinking time. And it also allows my older kids to have a hand with preparing it so that I'm not tied up doing that, where I could be doing something else. Okay, carry on. I hope you're not sick of me yet. Okay, after lunch, that brings us to 2 o'clock. Jeremiah is still taking a nap. And so as soon as he's done with lunch, I will put him down for a nap. And the rest of the kids either can rest or do silent reading. We are going to wrap that up then around 2:30, where we will actually complete one more subject. We will either be doing history or science, and I alternate these every other day of Monday through Thursday. We do either history or science. So what that entails, it's a really fun time for me anyway. The kids seem like they're enjoying it, but for 1 hour, we will either sit at the table or sit at the couch, and we're doing story of the world for our history. So I'll read them the story from that, or read them the story from our God's Design science book, which is less captivating than the story of the world, like, let's be honest. But while I'm reading, they have things that they can color if they want. They have a map to work out. They can, for science, they have notebooks that they can just draw in or write something down. And sometimes we will have a craft or a project that goes along with it. So we allot an hour for that. Samuel likes to participate in that too. I actually just made him a notebook to go along with everybody else, and I make the same history printouts because he really likes to participate in that time. He enjoys coloring, which is a big plus when you've got a very active 3-year-old. He will sit down for long periods of time and color, so you just have to know your kid's personality. We are going to wrap that up at 3:30, and here on 3:30 I have outdoor chores. Now, while we're still living here in the city, we have no outdoor chores. But once we move at last, we have quite a few. This has to be a daily thing. The kids take turns, my older two take turns with mowing because we have acres and acres that need to be mowed. So they take turns with mowing. We have quite a few chickens that need to be fed and watered, and eggs collected that right now, my husband's doing it as he goes back and forth to work on building our tiny house. The garden taken care of, and there's more to come with those. So every day at 3:30, we're going to be heading outside, all of us, to start on that. I'm then going into free time for the kids. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. Again, that's something that has not been part of our reality yet, so I just had to kind of guess, which is why it's so beautiful that these are sticky tacked, because it can just move it around if that's not enough time or whatever it may be. But once they're done with that, they're going to go into their free time. They can do whatever they want. I am planning during that free time to have what I'm calling desk work. And I actually wrote myself a note because I'm so scatterbrained that I will say, what in the world am I supposed to be doing right now anyway? But these are things that I have either trouble getting to, or I do them late at night when the kids are sleeping. It's things like editing these videos, going through budget things, meal planning, homeschool planning, working on any to-dos that Jason has asked me to do. Sometimes he'll ask me to write somebody or do something. Or other things that get totally pushed by the wayside, like updating the baby books or the photo albums. That is a little time that I'm allowing myself, 30 minutes a day, to work on any of those things. At 4:30, I imagine that's about the time that my kids are ready for a snack. This is not a formal snack time, but they can come through and grab fruit or vegetable, whatever, easy snack, cheese stick, I don't know. And I also left myself open there to read to my little guys, or big ones. My kids love to be read to, all ages. They will sit and listen to a picture book or a chapter book alike. And so I wanted to make sure in the afternoon that I have a time that if they're ready to snuggle up with a book, I'm available. If they want to keep on playing, that's fine too. They have another full hour from 4 until 6 when we have dinner is free time. Now, right before that dinner, I do expect that we're going to just work together to do a tidy of whatever mess we've made during that free time. Now, during that time, when they're cleaning, I missed this. At 5 o'clock, when I'm done with all my desk work and reading, that's when I'll start dinner. I like to start dinner 1 hour before we eat because it gives me plenty of time to prepare and let things cook if they need to. And I also will be preparing breakfast for the next morning. I really like to follow the recipes in the Nourishing Traditions cookbook. And so if we're having oatmeal the next day, I will start soaking that the day before. That's a topic for another video, but anything like that I will prepare to make sure breakfast is ready to go in the morning. So the plan is to eat dinner at 6, and I also have under mine read aloud. This is one of our most treasured times as a family. I will finish eating quickly and then grab our chapter book that we're reading as an entire family, and I will read a chapter or two or however much time we can fit in while everybody else is either finishing eating or just hanging around so they can hear. So this is just a really sweet time for us that we've done for quite a while. Then when we're finished, clean up obviously from dinner. Then at 7, we plan on having that time that anybody who's dirty gets a shower or a bath, or you can just have some free time if you don't need that night. Also, I will be setting the laundry during that time for the next morning, set my timer so it's ready to go. And then they can just have free time, evening free time until 8 when we will start our bedtime routine. That's get your jammies on if they're not already, brush your teeth, and gather together as a family for just... Okay, I had to change memory cards. I ran out of space. So, where was I? Okay. Maybe it was to 8. Okay, 8 o'clock. Our bedtime routine is just get your jammies on if you don't have them already, brush your teeth, and then we gather together for family devotionals before we turn off the lights.
Can I put the number one?
Sure. Climb up and get one. One
What
thing,
bucket do I get that?
it's in the AA,
Oh.
the one that says AA.
The one that
One thing that I'm really excited about once we are living in the tiny house is that all of our kids will be in a little bedroom together that's mainly just bunks. Everybody has their own bunk bed that has a curtain, a room darkening curtain that can slide over and close. So they will be able to have their lights and read in their beds until they're tired without any problem of disturbing the others. So that's just something that is going to be a great blessing. Then I finish this off with just, I spend some time with Jason, I get ready for bed, and I try to go to bed about 10. So that is our schedule. The times on the schedule are not supposed to be we never break away from it, or I get stressed out if we fall behind time-wise. That is not the goal of having my schedule by the half-hour increment. It is supposed to be a guide that can kind of help us to have an idea of the flow of our day, of when we're doing what. It gives me, with my mom brain, a chance to kind of have an outline that I can make work for me. Also, because I have a non-reader, Samuel, who's really interested in knowing what comes next, I made some little picture cards that if he wants to, I've got them on a little peg that he can just say, okay, I'm done with that. And then what comes next? Okay, I'm done with that. Just an extra little tool that would be fun for him and help him to feel like he's participating in things. Let's see. Oops. I think the only thing that I didn't cover, if you're still here and you still want to hear more of these details, is this is my little picture or my little schedule that I hang next to the washing machine of how I plan to get all the laundry done in the early mornings so I'm not messing with it the rest of the day. So like I said, the night before I set the laundry so that it's done at 6 a.m. I can switch it into the dryer when I get up and toss in a new load right away so that it's already gone. I like laundry in and out so I don't have to iron. So I don't like it to sit in the dryer at all. My whole cycle takes about 45 minutes, so at 6:45 I switch it over again. I grab out myself this time because the kids still aren't up. I just quickly grab out the dry clothes, toss them into a pile if they're not important to be hung or wrinkle free. And the things that do need to be taken care of, I hang those right away. And I start another load. And from then on, Isabella takes over. That's the point that she comes in at her chore time. She takes the rest of that last load out of the dryer and folds it up. Whatever clothes I didn't get folded that morning, she folds those and puts them all into the appropriate bin, and then we're done with laundry for the day. And that should be enough to keep us going just fine. If I do 3 loads a day, we're usually good here. I still have a lot of little people with little clothes, so I'm sure as my kids get older with large, more adult-sized clothes, it's not going to work. But for now, 3 loads a day works great for us. Okay, that's my plan. It's just a blessing to me to slowly become a very organized person. This has just been one of the greatest gifts God has given me, is taking an unorganized person like me and slowly turning her into somebody who feels like, okay, I can do this and I can do this and I can learn how to do that. So it's just a work in progress, and I'd love to hear how you schedule your day, or if you have any ideas or suggestions to help streamline mine. I'm always looking for that, so just let me know. I will link a couple things, the scripture memory system video and the managers of their home book. I will put that all in the description below this video, but if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. Have a great day.